Hello, everyone. I'm Gil Carrasquinho, VP and Global Head of Cell Therapy for Santen, and I'm here today to share with you an update about our company and our cell therapy plans. First of all, let me thank ARM for this opportunity, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. So today I'm going to cover three topics. I'll share an update about Santen 2030, our plans and our expansion into advanced therapies. Then I will focus more on our activities around cell therapy by sharing our mission, goals, and strategy. And then I'll talk about our lead asset, which is a human retinal progenitor cell therapy, by highlighting some of the milestones in progress to date with our program. So Santen has 130 years of history. We are a specialized ophthalmology company with a global presence. And now we have launched our new vision, Santen 2030. We aim at becoming a social innovator by orchestrating and mobilizing key technologies and players around the world to deliver happiness through vision. We have a goal to reduce the loss of social and economic opportunities for people around the world due to eye conditions. In order to reach those, we have established a strategy with three key pillars. The first one is ophthalmology. So we want to innovate in the field as well as support the acceleration of the ecosystem development. Second pillar is wellness. We want to raise awareness and proactive care towards a better eye condition for everyone. And the third pillar is inclusion. We aim at building a society that is inclusive regardless of the visual impairment. So based on those vision and goals, we are going through a journey in our company. We started in the last decade, and by 2020, we have established and expanded into a global company. By expanding and leveraging our Japanese strength to build this global presence. Now we are entering the step 2, which is the MTP25. Our goal now is to further enhance globalization as well at the same time entering new fields. So we will focus still on our core business by maximizing and expanding that even further. At the same time, we'll be entering new areas. One of them is the cell and gene therapy field. Today, I'm talking with you primarily about our entry in cell therapy. We'll also expand into out-of-pocket field and digital health. By doing this, we aim by 2030 to become a social innovator and a global leader in ophthalmology. So now that you understand our Santen 2030 vision and our goals as a company, let me talk about our cell therapy organization and goals. So in January 2021, Santen has established a cell therapy organization with a mission, which is we are committed to developing, commercializing, and becoming the global leader of advanced therapies for eye diseases. We have a goal, creating a brighter future and a better life for patients impacted by rare and sight-threatening diseases. So our group has established a 2-3-year strategy focusing on 3 steps. The first one is to accelerate our HRPC therapy clinical development program. So as I mentioned, we have this lead asset. I'll talk a bit more about that later in the presentation, but our main goal right now is to advance that program so that we can bring this therapy for patients as soon as possible. And we'll also be looking at this therapy in another few potential indications within the retinal disease space. In parallel to that, we want to build a long-term strategy and presence in the advanced therapy field by adding new assets to our pipeline. We are also very focusing on building these new organizational capabilities and a global footprint so that we can develop and commercialize assets in the advanced therapy space and have a sustainable presence in this field. So as I mentioned, we are building a sustainable platform that is fully dedicated to advanced therapies. We have 3 key pillars in terms of the philosophy behind these organizations. So we have established a tailored operating framework that combines both the agility of a startup with the expertise and heritage of an established company. Being a specialized ophthalmology company, we have a very strong network and global presence already, but at the same time, we need this agility of a startup to be able to advance in this field as fast as possible. We have been focusing on building this specialized global team, covering all the core functions so that we can bring the assets from early development all the way to commercial. And we are very committed and focusing on collaboration with key stakeholders and contributing to the development of the advanced therapy ecosystem. So that's also one of our key focuses. So as I mentioned, our organization has dedicated capabilities and expertise in advanced therapy as well retina and rare diseases. This will allow us to advance our programs in the right way. So our group has now all the core functions, starting from clinical development, regulatory, manufacturing, medical affairs, patient access, as well as commercial. So we work in a very integrated organizational model, and our success factors are very clear. So we want to create that strong clinical data. We want to have a fast time to market. We want to have a compelling value story, and as well a fast ramp up when it comes to organizational as well as programs milestones. So now that I've shared with you both about our company as well as our tailored dedicated focus in cell therapy, let me talk about our HRPC therapy, our key milestones in progress to date. So before I go into the therapy, let me share with you some highlights about our lead indication. It's a disease called retinitis pigmentosa. It has a very significant global impact. Despite being an orphan disease, it affects around 1.9 million people globally. Unfortunately, this disease has a devastating burden on patients. It's an inherited retinal disease leading to progressive vision loss, which can result in blindness by the age of 40. Unfortunately, this disease has a very considerable unmet medical need still today. It's a very heterogeneous disease with more than 100 genes in the background of the disease, and there is no licensed therapy that can address all types of RP. Based on that, here you can see how patients see from their eyes when they suffer from the disease. So on the left side, you can see a normal vision. On the right side, you can see a vision of a patient suffering from retinitis pigmentosa. So quite devastating. And that's why we are very focused on advancing our HRPC therapy and hopefully bring it as soon as possible to RP patients. So our therapy is allogenic cell therapy, is in late stage clinical development. The mode of action of our therapy is through the release of neurotrophic factors. So these neurotrophic factors act to slow or potentially prevent the death of the retinal cells. So these retinal cells, we are talking about the photoreceptors, cones and rods. They are the cells that are affected in the pathophysiological mechanism of retinitis pigmentosa. Now, looking a bit broader than just our cell therapy in the context of therapies under investigation in this field, some of the advantages of our HRPC therapy is the fact that it's gene agnostic, so it has the potential actually to treat a broad range of RP patients. It's also a simple intravitreal injection procedure, so it reduces the burden on patients and healthcare systems. It has shown so far a favorable safety profile with low immunoresistance risk, and is also, in terms of mode of action, has the potential to be studied and investigated in other retinal diseases in the future. So the program has been progressing through several milestones. In terms of regulatory designations, it has been granted EMA and FDA Orphan designation, as well as the FDA RMAT designation, stands for Regenerative Medicine Advanced Therapy designation. It attests both to the innovative nature of the therapy as well as the unmet medical need in this disease. From a data perspective, our partners have brought the program all the way from preclinical to phase 2B. Obviously, early phase clinical data in adult RP patients documented a favorable safety profile of this therapy, which allowed it to move to the phase 2B, which is what I will share with you, the results from this phase 2B study. So the phase 2B study was one of the largest studies conducted in retinitis pigmentosa adult patients. It included a broad range of patients, were 84 patients randomized to 3 arms. There was a sham arm, a 3 million cell arm, and a 6 million cell arm. And the primary endpoint was the mean change in BCVA from baseline to 12 months. Here you can see the baseline characteristics of the patients. Is a broad range of baseline characteristics, well balanced across most parameters, excluding the age where there was a slight imbalance between the arms. Now looking at the results of the per protocol population on the study. So this phase 2b study was designed to demonstrate both safety and efficacy of the therapy in RP patients who receive one single injection of the therapy. While the per protocol analysis showed trends toward meaningful improvement and differences between the 6 million cell and the sham arm, those were not statistically significant. As you can see, there was a gain of 7.4 letters in the 6 million cell arm, and the difference to the sham arm was 4.63 letters. Based on that, there was further analysis of the data in order to inform the ideal selection of patients for the phase 3 study. So one of the key focus was to look at patients that can be reliably assessed in terms of efficacy in order to use that patient group in the phase 3 study. So a criteria was established for subjects that cannot be reliably measured based both on literature and validation study. That meant excluding patients who were unable to maintain fixation, meaning they did not have central vision or the constricted visual fields of less than 12 degrees. Was also another parameter around study eye significantly worse than the fellow eye with more than 3 lines difference between the eyes. This led to a subgroup analysis of a target patient population, in this case 37 patients. Here you can see in this post-hoc analysis of the target population, which excluded the patients who can't reliably be assessed in terms of measurements. It showed a trend towards improvement in the 6 million cell group, with the mean change in BCVA and contrast sensitivity at 12 months post-treatment being statistically significant when compared to the control sham group. It was also a clinical meaningful difference. You can see a 16.3 letter gain on the 6 million cell arm compared with in the difference of 14.43 letters between the 6 million cell arm and the sham arm. So based on these results and the overall evidence available for this therapy, now Santen with our partners are working together to bring the program to the pivotal phase 3 stage. In terms of safety, also the study documented a favorable safety profile with only 1 SAE and no systemic adverse events. So that takes me to the conclusion slide. So I would like you to take the 3 messages. So Santen is going through an exciting transformation and growth phase towards 2030. As part of this, we are expanding into the field of advanced therapies. As part of this expansion, we have built a dedicated organization with deep expertise and capabilities with the aim to establish a long-term sustainable presence in this field. We have a lead asset, a human retinal progenitor cell therapy, which is under investigation as a gene-independent treatment to address a considerable unmet need in RP, and all our focus is on advancing this therapy and bringing it to patients as soon as possible. So I would like to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the presentation.